Hey guys, I expect and I feel as if there are many people awakening to just how warped but yet subdued the world is. Like, that is the status of the world that we live in. It's warped and subdued. Many people are in the know about it. They know the specifics. A lot of people don't. They just think, this is weird, this is troubling, this is not normal human life. But they don't know why, and they don't know exactly what's going on behind closed doors. But I can personally tell you that I figured some things out, and it's quite sick and disturbing, disgusting. And the fact that it's so incentivized to never even be real about any single bit of it, it's just gonna show its wear and tear over time. We're gonna have a society where the few people left that are awoken are going to be the odd duck. All the odd ducks need to find each other and just be the odd ducks together, but that's way easier said than done. There's so many methods of manipulation and ways to interfere with communication that's just not even funny. And I'm not even trying to sound funny when I say this, but if somebody calls you and speaks to you on a phone, unless they're FaceTiming you or you're sure that they're on a phone call with you, you're looking at them physically, then that may not be them, guys. There's a lot of rampant use of AI and voice cloning, and there's a lot of tactics that are designed to trick our minds into believing things that are not true, or believing that there are people here on this planet that don't exist anymore. It's all a seedy cover-up. It's being exposed little by little. But I believe that there's going to be a larger consciousness shift. I've mentioned this many times. It still is yet to occur, but there will be a larger consciousness shift in our lifetimes, I believe. The powers that be, they know things. They're quite methodical. They're quite genius in their ways, and they absorb information and never quite forget it. These cultural engineers have always been in the background trying to keep people like me from people like me. They really don't want you to know your soulmate. They don't want you to have good kindred spirits or good friends that are not toxic or manipulatable, or they can twist against you or to use to deceive you. There are literally people in the background poking and prodding, the devil on your shoulder, you might say, that are going to try to urge you to harm people or to do things that are deceitful in the best interest of not being outed as who they are then, or being held accountable or having an ill effect from their own behavior. It's becoming the norm for a lot of people who are, quite frankly, just stupid fucking idiots that can't do anything other than what they're told. They are the 10%. The 10% are always going to tell the 90% what to do, and they're just sheep. And like I said many times, they're being led to a slaughter, and many of them are self-aware, and they're just going to have the best time they can until they get to that slaughterhouse. But the world is also going to be full of purposeful distractions that are orchestrated to be there, to be something that clouds your judgment, clouds your mind and ruins your sense of judgment, something that doesn't contribute to anything productive, and it certainly isn't going to be enlightening, isn't going to be fulfilling. It's just something to take up space, take up time. Those types of distractions become more obvious and clear the more awoken you are. You're going to be highly sensitive to your environment. You're going to pick up on cues. You're going to notice things about people that you didn't quite notice before. It's going to be troubling. Myself have been more or less an army of one for a very long time for a reason. It's given me time to absorb and reflect and actually see things for what they are. And most people, I can quite frankly do without. Like, I'm just going to stay in my own lane, do my own thing, be in my own sphere and bubble, and one of these days that bubble may grow. I suspect that it probably will, in its own unique way. But at any rate, the baseless things in our lives are going to stand out more. You're going to feel more of the burnout. You're going to feel the dregs of all of it, and it's going to just become more of an awakening that you can't speak about unless you're around the right people. Which brings me to the point that we are dwindling. People who are intellectuals, who actually care, who want to have meaning and purpose in their lives, and aren't scared of their past. We are a dying breed, and we're all spread out throughout the world on different timelines. And there's never been more methods of aversion and manipulation ever in this human society. The technology that is being used on people, that's what's keeping them normal, you guys. If people were left to their own devices, being fully aware of all the wrong being committed and all of the injustices in great detail, then man, they wouldn't be functioning in human society. They wouldn't be able to hack it. That's pretty much the deal on that. The more you know, the more aware you are, the more they're not going to like it, and the easier it's going to be to not even value the company of other people. If you're a thinker, if you're a person who feels a lot and thinks a lot, and you do have these other sorts of abilities of reaching people, then yeah, it becomes way less appealing to even be around most people. Solitude is very, very enticing to me most of the time. to be honest. But anyway, what keeps this from being a phenomenon or a theme that's talked about is that the jig is up periodically and it's phased out and covered up on an individual basis. And due to the manpower that they have with this system of life and this New World Order, and the fact that it is a well-oiled machine that took many years to build, so to speak, it's going to take a long time for patterns to emerge in a big enough way to point to a theme, because this is just not sustainable. This well-oiled machine is starting to get creaky, and it's not going to be lasting forever, and it's not going to be something that's concealable forever. You know, problems for the opposition, these powers that be, taking care of these problems so often and so consistently in such a way is eventually going to add up and take its toll. And there's going to be a generation left of trauma victims and deranged and morally bankrupt, mentally ill, sociopathic narcissists. It's leading to that. It's leading to a society where you're either a worn-down trauma victim who just suffers silently, or you're a malignant narcissist who gets off on it and knows who to prey upon and gets their jollies harming weak people, or vulnerable people, rather. That's just the deal. I seriously believe that we all do need to probably preemptively start forming militias, if you want to call them that, and network and share your location with people and do things that will signify that you're aware and you're not afraid and you won't back down, and it'll perhaps even set a precedent that they don't need to fuck with you. They can maybe go mess with somebody else, some idiot who doesn't care at all, who doesn't think about anything. Those are the people that need to be phased out, not brilliant, articulate people that can actually do some good for the world, that are creative. That type of genius and intellect has never been valued by these types of people that have plotted to do this, but never has it been more important to not have a creative-minded and tough individual stick around to see if it's possible to have a life outside of this matrix, or to blend and balance what we've learned. But we shall see. It's anybody's guess, really. There's no absolute in this reality. Like I said, there's too many ways to control fate and to interfere with destiny for me to ever properly know how this is going to go. This could all just be like Sopranos cut to black for all of us at some point, and we never talked about it. But I hope that's not the case. Hopefully I'm wrong.